Hundreds have gathered near Bangladesh's diplomatic mission in New Delhi, calling for an end to what protesters say are attacks targeting Hindus in Bangladesh. Demonstrations come a day after top diplomats from both countries met in Dhaka to discuss months of strained relations. The first high-level visit to Bangladesh by an Indian official to take place since the ousting in August of Sheikh Hasina from office and her flight to India. Tensions also spiking after the recent arrest of a Hindu spiritual leader in Bangladesh. Bangladeshi minorities, particularly Hindus, say they have come under further attack since Sheikh Hasina fled the country. But Bangladesh's interim government says those reports are widely exaggerated. And for Ishan Garg joins us live from New Delhi. Ishan, take us through these latest tensions, the flare-up in tensions between Bangladesh and India.
Well, tensions between Bangladesh and India have been simmering since Sheikh Hasina was ousted from power in August and she had to seek shelter here in India. And since then, concerns were brewing here in New Delhi that attacks against minorities, particularly Hindus, could rise in Bangladesh because many in Delhi saw Sheikh Hasina as the sort of figure who would keep the hard right-wing Islamist forces in Bangladesh under control. And with her gone, there were concerns that the minorities could come under attack. And human rights groups across the world have said that those attacks are rising, with some reports suggesting that attacks against Hindus have taken place in at least 50 districts all across Bangladesh. And tensions flared when a Hindu spiritual priest, Chinmoy Das Prabhu, was arrested in Bangladesh. And following that, massive protests have erupted here in India, particularly in New Delhi. On Tuesday, you had hundreds of people taking to the streets right in front of the Bangladeshi High Commission office, saying that 10th of December is the International Human Rights Day, and therefore the Bangladeshi government needs to respect the human rights of the minorities in Bangladesh, particularly the Hindus. And this comes at a time when the Indian government has on several occasions said that attacks against Hindus in Bangladesh are a huge problem and they want that to stop. The Bangladeshi government, currently led by Muhammad Yunus, who is the chief advisor to the interim government, they have acknowledged that these sort of attacks are indeed taking place and steps are being taken to calm the situation down, but they say that the reports of these attacks are being hugely exaggerated. New Delhi, however, says that any attacks are, of course, hugely deplorable.
Oh, these protests coming even as top officials, that's Indian and Bangladeshi foreign secretaries met in Dhaka yesterday to try to ease over those tensions. Did anything come out of those high-level talks?
Well, one thing was very apparent after these talks, that tensions between India and Bangladesh, they are very, very palpable right now, because India was very clearly saying in the conversation with Bangladesh that Bangladesh needs to take this issue of attacks against minorities very, very seriously. It needs to take the alleged acts of vandalism against Hindu temples and churches even very seriously. But the Bangladeshi side is saying that all of that is an internal security matter of Bangladesh and India need not comment on it. We also heard from the office of Muhammad Yunus, who said that these clouds that are appearing over India-Bangladesh relations, they need to be cleared by India. At the same time, saying that there is still a huge deal of potential between India and Bangladesh to continue this relationship. But it's very clear right now that this issue of attacks against minorities is weighing heavily on this relationship. And what this talk between India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri and his Bangladeshi counterpart could do is probably try and nudge that relationship in a positive direction going forward. However, India has said that this issue of attacks against Hindus in Bangladesh will continue to be a thorn in its side, and India will keep pressing Bangladesh to act on these issues.
Well, thanks to Ishan Garg reporting live there from New Delhi.